Welcome to Gregorian Chat.
Referring to your breasts. Classic.
Why don't you have your shirt on?
Because I'm sweaty.
Why don't you just take your sweaty shirt off and put on your chaplaincy shirt, your brand new Auckland Catholic Tertiary chaplaincy shirts. Welcome to the podcast.
With shirts.
Welcome back to Gregorian Chat. It feels like it's been a while since we've been on the podcast. We decided to...
Because we recorded the last one on Tuesday.
That's right. We did a special episode. We were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We were kind of tied up in a lot of politics there, but bringing it right back for the episodes with meaning.
Yes.
A Catholic meaning, we should say, a more Catholic meaning.
A more Catholic.
What are we talking about today, Dom?
Well, we started a while ago with the very single Sam Brebner on learning to discern, and we're addressing that issue right away with how to discern marriage.
How to discern marriage with Dom and Dom.
So we went to the experts.
Us.
I mean, Dom's been married for like a couple of months now.
At least two.
At least two.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about that, so stick around. We've also got some tea to give away at the end of the podcast. It's been a long time, but yes, we are having a giveaway. You can find out the details of how to win that tea if you stick around. Now, today we are drinking a tea that is called... Where's that packet gone? I think it's called Yersha Mate.
Yep.
Yersha Mate, but I mean it's Mate as in M-A-T-E, so I just like Yersha, mate.
Yersha, mate.
Drinking some Yersha, mate.
What can you tell me about this tea?
I can tell you quite a bit because I talked to Arun, who's like the guru of tea down at Teto.
Yeah.
So this tea, because you told me you needed something with a lot of energy.
I need a boost.
You need a boost.com. And I'm sure that site exists.
Yeah, totally.
I wouldn't look it up. But he told me that the Inca would drink this tea before going into battle because it had more caffeine. Now, when I say tea, it's a herbal tea, so it doesn't have any tea leaf. But I'm interested to see. It's supposed to have a lot of caffeine, so let's go. It's very much sticks and stones.
Yeah. It doesn't leave much up to the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty much tastes like water. However, we're going for the revitalising thing. I feel like I could go into war.
as long as it... Yeah.
Yeah, do you feel
I feel like I could always go into war.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. For speaking of war, we had to help a woman today because she was being attacked by a man who broke her car window.
Yeah. Pretty intense.
No, it was in a car.
We left at 10. But yeah, it was interesting, and always be on the lookout and be willing to stand up for what is right.
What else have you been up to lately, Dom?
What else have I been up to lately? Well, we were playing football today. That was pretty good. First football match we've won.
We now play for the Catholic Diocese of Auckland.
Yes. And that was a good match. And I'm going to Christchurch this weekend.
Is that right?
I'm going
What are you doing in Christchurch?
I'm going to see a friend. He's from Wellington. Then he moved to Melbourne, and now he's moved back to Christchurch with his wife and his baby and his mother-in-law. And we're going to go and see him. Quite excited. I haven't seen him in 2 years.
Brilliant.
So it's quite exciting.
Brilliant.
So that's exciting news in my life. What's going on with you?
Tomorrow night, I'm taking a bunch of students up to Snow Planet to go skiing and snowboarding. It's going to be dope, as we say in the 21st century. We say dope, meaning cool, not anything else.
Yes.
It's going to be great. I've also recently had booked some flights down to Nelson to visit my family, which will be really nice. Went to a concert last night.
Oh, yeah?
A Russian violinist called Ilya Gringo.
I always say violins is never the answer.
Well, this guy wanted to say hello to everybody out there.
You really strung yourself up right then.
Well, he would have. But that was bad. Symphony. Yeah. But it's been good. Times have been good. We've been practicing some music for World Youth Day, Auckland experience.
Not in Panama. That's in a couple of years.
Anyway, let's get on to topic because I know we've got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
You and I have recently been married.
Yeah.
Like you said, we did the first episode with Sam Brebner talking about how to begin your discernment.
Yeah, and there's many different things you could be discerning. Marriage, priesthood, religious life, single life, what sandwich to eat. We went over in the podcast.
Everything, like which guitar to be playing on a certain day. You've got, so we just wanted to talk a bit about our experiences of like discerning marriage and then going through with it.
Yes.
So I guess my question would be like, we might have very different experiences just because of our upbringings.
Totally.
So like, where did you always want to get married, or was it only like once you became Catholic, or what?
Yeah. Well, I guess like for me, because I wasn't brought up a Catholic, so marriage was pretty much what was on the cards. There was no other option.
True.
You're gonna get married, or you'll remain single for the rest of your days, and you'll be a very sad person. So that wasn't. That, I guess it was always on the cards for me, and then I converted, and like priesthood really didn't come up onto my radar until I joined SPEC, which is a volunteer missionary community in the Westminster Diocese. Check it out. And they had
some speculations.
Yeah, they had some speculations. It stands for speculum vitae, which means marital life, and we're meant to be reflecting the life of Christ.
Okay.
There you go. So whilst I was reflecting the life of Christ, of which part of that life is the priesthood, I decided in that year, like we were encouraged to like give that year to God. No relationships, give that year to God. And so I was like, right, let's discern the priesthood. Because I like the idea of priesthood. I mean, I remember hearing someone say that, like, as a priest, you have to be prepared to, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you get a phone call, you got to get up and go, you got to anoint the sick, that person's going to die, or you need to go and help somebody in their need. I like that kind of missionary kind of commando idea of it. But
the hardcore nature of
yeah, I like that idea of it. I was actually quite scared of the whole math situation. I remember saying to a priest, like, I don't think I'd be a good priest because how do you remember the words for math? He's like, you don't. There's a book. So I can't read. No, it's not.
I'm reading a book, man. See, SPEC, okay, because I always thought that would be an acronym, like someone please end Crocs or something.
I'm not great with acronyms.
And that would be a great cause, actually, if you just started a foundation for ending Crocs. But anyway, that'd be a crock of... okay, so then the idea was planted in your brain. You were thinking about becoming a priest when you became a Catholic? Because you were on a buzz?
I wasn't. No, I hadn't really thought about becoming a priest at all. Okay. And
and you were kind of like saying why
So when I got to SPEC, we were in this intense environment of kind of morning prayer,
with the tents,
evening prayer. Well, you weren't there, man. I weren't there. It was tents everywhere. Anyway. There was morning prayer, there was evening prayer, and then throughout the whole day we were talking about God and getting people to engage with Christ. And I was like, okay, this is the situation where I'm going to discern my vocation into the priesthood. So I started discerning, and then I met Jess and stopped.
So, okay, so that seems like a very broad sweep, right? Started discerning. What did you do for discernment? This is what people want to know.
Well, I guess I thought I'll look into being a priest, and so I started taking my prayer life a lot more seriously.
Okay.
And I mean, I was challenged a lot because every night there was a different prayer. So every morning we did the Divine Office, which is like the prayer of the church, and so we did that every morning, and that was fairly boring and self-explanatory initially, but I learned to love it. And then every evening we did different prayer. We did the rosary, we did adoration, we did praise and worship, we did Taizé chant, and we did something else. I can't remember what the fifth one was, but we did it. And so like I had to learn how to pray the rosary, and like just learning how to pray was I guess a big thing of kind of like, because I had a bit of an issue with the rosary, which we'll probably go into another time. Like I thought it's like a lot of Mary. Something's meant to be Jesus, but I thought, you know what? Catholic Church says it's a prayer. I'm going to pray. So I started offering up for people, and things started changing in people's lives that I was praying for, which was pretty cool. But I mean, I guess for me it was all pretty, like the first couple of years of my Catholic faith was like boom, 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 boom. Like I converted, and I went to SPEC. I thought about being a priest, and I found Jess, and I moved to New Zealand, and now I'm here, and it's like, it was for me it was all pretty. Full on, and I like to think that it's kind of like it took me 22 years to realize God existed, and so 22 years worth of stuff needed to happen in a short space of time for me to catch up.
Interesting.
Which led me to meeting Jess. In a situation where we weren't meant to be starting relationships, so it was pretty hectic to start off of it. But
so because they were doing the same course, and when you're doing the course, you're not allowed to be dating because you're supposed to be devoted to mission.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they don't want it to be like a Catholic dating service. Come here and meet your husband. You know,
absolutely. Unlike what we do here. No, I'm kidding. Cool.
But yeah, so I initially didn't start off discerning marriage. Like, marriage was something that would happen, and I guess I always wanted to be married. Like I remember as a little kid having fantasies of like the perfect date I would take someone out on.
Aww.
We'd have a Land Rover, we'd drive to the top of a hill at sunset with a picnic.
The reality was, she hopped on the back of your skateboard, you went to Macca's and got a dirty cheeseburger. Not even one each, just one to share.
Yeah, well, that.
Headed to a dark alley and played some chess.
Yeah, played chess.
Ah, yeah.
So how was it different for you going towards the idea of marriage?
Well, pretty much the only thing that was different was the dark alley.
Okay.
Cheeseburger was there, the skateboard.
And the chess.
And well, actually we played Twister. And that's where things got out of hand.
Twister is the devil's game.
Wow, because it's like very...
It's twisted, man.
Twisted. My life was spun round.
Anyway, how was it different for you growing up as a Catholic? What was your perception of the priesthood like in marriage?
Yes. So, I mean, growing up as a Catholic, I grew up in a Christian community where we were regularly exposed to awesome examples of kind of every walk of life. So you had amazing priests like Father John Ray, who's still ministering today. So he has an amazing healing ministry, and so he's a Marist. So it was like a very different kind of form of priesthood to see in action, as opposed to, and then you got the diocesan at my parish. So, you kind of see some different kinds of priesthood. There were also really good examples of married life, including my own parents and other families' parents in the community. So I kind of grew up in a culture where it was normal to be around these different kinds of people. Mm-hmm. I used to talk with Father John Ray because we used to go for these walks in the morning. He would, whenever he was in town, he'd invite us to go walk a mountain. And so at like 6 a.m, and I'd be talking to him, and I'd be like, I think I might want to become a priest, because of when I'm maybe like 13, 14, 12 maybe. And because, my uncle was a priest growing up, and I knew people in the family who had vocations.
That's cool.
So, I guess you could say I was immersed in the mercy. And I think me and my eldest sister, Rebecca, we kind of had this camaraderie kind of thing going on where we were both thinking about vocations. She was thinking about becoming a nun, and I couldn't be a nun, so I had to think about becoming a priest. And so we would talk about this a lot and be like, okay, well, interesting. What are you doing? In terms of this area, what are you looking into? And so I actually, throughout when I finished high school, I think I was more open to being a priest than I was to marriage.
Oh wow!
To tell you the truth, it was but the more I thought about that, the more I realized part of that was the grace of God, just kind of planting seeds in my mind. But the other part of that was that I was in Nelson, which is a very small town where most of the girls are either your sister or just like your sister. And so I was like, well, priesthood seems like a pretty good option. But anyway, so I did a gap year, went to the States after high school, after working for a couple of years.
Where your sister was.
And my sister wasn't there. Yeah. And then there were no. And so when I was in the States, I was living with a single brotherhood. So they're single for life. They're not they're ecumenical, so they're not, what would you call it? They don't take vows as such,
Okay.
But they do observe poverty, chastity, and obedience.
Okay.
Live in an order, we did morning prayers every day. So when I was over there, I was considering joining that when I was done, because I couldn't join as an affiliate until I was finishing my gap year program, because it was two different things. So then came back to New Zealand. I felt I should give some service back to my community, and then moved to Auckland to study. And that's when I guess you say I started going through my discernment process, because I knew I was kind of interested in marriage.
Yeah.
But I was also interested in priesthood. At the time, there was a relationship I had been in.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't even in a relationship. It was like there was the beginnings of a potential relationship.
Right.
And then I would talk a lot about how I was still wanting to discern the priesthood. So then basically what happened is I went on a discernment retreat with Father Bernie Thomas, the old chaplain here. And we went over to Waiheke, we did some prayer, some spiritual direction, things like that.
Yeah, very good.
And basically I had to get to the stage where I was deciding, am I going to look at married life, or am I going to become a priest? Those for me were the two options that I kind of narrowed it down to. I thought if I was going to be religious in any way, I want to be a priest, because I feel like that would be my calling, as opposed to just a brother. So it was interesting, because I got to the stage in my discernment where I was thinking, I thought it would be like God just wants you to say whatever you want, God, and then He'll say, great, I want you to be a priest.
Right. Okay.
But my experience of it was like giving over to God more and more, and not just like saying, oh yeah, God, I give it to you, but really in your thoughts and your actions being like, I could happily live either way, as a priest or as a religious or as a married man. And then one day, after just praying about it for a long time, I had a bit of an epiphany, and God was like, my greatest joy would be for you to want to devote the rest of your life to me. And for me, and for you to do that, I want to fulfill your greatest joy. So then God basically then gave it back to me and said, well, what would be your greatest joy? And I was like, marriage.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just where the penny dropped, and I was like...
And that's an important point to bear in mind, that God doesn't want to trap us in anything. He doesn't want you to go into a loveless marriage. He doesn't want you to go into a loveless priesthood. But He does want you to say, God, I want to be with you. And I think there is almost a misconception in discerning religious or priesthood. The married or priesthood is kind of like, you're married, so you didn't make it as a priest, or marriage is kind of like the thing that everyone does, and some people maybe might become priests. But I think what a healthier way of perceiving it is, that kind of idea you were saying is like, where do you want me to be in love with you the most? Because we have the priest who looks after the parish, who looks after the church, and that's his family. But the husband, he looks after the domestic church. And whereas it's no more or less of a giving of yourself.
That's right.
It's a case of, I'm going to give myself in this capacity, which is with a family, which means new life, which means different problems. I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to tether myself to this one person for the rest of my life. What she's upset with, I'm upset with. When she's happy, I'm happy, and we're going to move forward together. And that is exactly what the priest has to do. I'm going to tether myself to the celibacy, to the body of the church. And that means I'll go wherever I'm sent. Yeah.
And the thing is, with finding your marriage partner, like if you're at that stage, the thing like with Laura, my wife, and I, married skis, something that I was thinking about a lot was, we can go for a couple more minutes afterwards, was thinking, when you want to find a marriage partner, you need to find someone that's basically your partner in crime. Okay?
Yeah.
In every way possible.
Not that you're going to do crime.
But some of the justice and peace we've been doing would be considered criminal.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. In a good way. Criminally good. But you need to find somebody who is like, that is the person that I could do whatever God calls me to do. With. They need to be an enabler, right?
Right, okay.
And this is just in general, but especially with, in terms of God's plan for your life.
Yeah.
And well, in saying that, when you're doing your discernment process, you might have to change a little bit. You shouldn't go into it being like, oh, they're not an enabler because they don't help me to do this. And then, it should be a bit of give and take.
It's what they're enabling you to do.
Are you bringing out the best in them? Are they bringing out the best in you, kind of thing? So yeah, that's one thing. I mean, what have you found with like you and Jess in terms of like bringing out the best in each other?
Well, with me and Jess, like bringing out the best in each other is it's like learning to live with somebody else and learning to know what their gifts are and how that fits into your life. Like for example, like I'm just a go man, so I'll go and do. You know, it's like, right, here's an idea, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. You know, so I've got myself in and a lot like organising my own ministry with Encounter, which takes me off to Christchurch often to go to conferences, getting involved with the chaplaincy, which is a tertiary mass, and it takes up a lot of my life, and I need to fit that within a married context. So something that was quite difficult for me at the beginning was I was like, okay, being a good Catholic means praying a lot, means being in community a lot, so I need to be going to prayer groups. They do adoration every Friday at the seminary, and so I should go to that because there's teaching as well, so I can get formed, I can do prayer, and that's great. And so I'm like, I need to go to this prayer group, but like, you know, you get to Friday, you get to the end of the week, and you're like, actually I'm knackered. And whereas personally, I'm like, I'm knackered, but I said I'll go, so I'll go. Yeah. But you know, Jess is like, she's knackered and she's staying in because she's knackered. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, I need to. So I can't go. I can't have a different prayer group every night. You know, I can't just drop things and just go.
And
But what I came to learn was actually no, because this is my prayer. My prayer is, it's Friday night, I'm dead. Friday night, Jess is dead.
Literally?
Someone still needs to cook. Not anymore. No,
don't die, Jess. It's Friday night. Don't die.
Because we're going to Christchurch, so don't. Anyway, yeah, we're both knackered, but food needs to be cooked, dishes need to be clean, house is a mess. So my prayer isn't going to the chapel and doing adoration, which I do, just not in the evenings. Like, my prayer is, no, I'm going to go and spend time with my spouse, with my domestic church. I'm going to minister there. And it's exactly the same from Jess. And what we see a good example I was given in this book, Life-Giving Love by Kimberly Hahn. Look it up. It talks about the Trinity. And what marriage is a something that points us towards God, towards the Trinity. We have the Father, who gives himself completely in self-donating love to the Son, who in seeing that mimics it and gives himself completely in self-donating love back to the Father. And this love is so powerful and so intense that it creates the third. In the married life, that's children. In the Trinity, it's the Holy Spirit. And so what does that teach us? It's like, it's not about me. You know, growing up, it has been about me the whole time. What do I want to do? I want to go to London and do this spec thing. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go do this job. I want to go and hang out with my mates. That's what it's all been about. The second you become married, it's like, it's not about me anymore. I've got to give up myself completely, which is scary.
Yeah, but it's also a beautiful thing that then gives back to you without even knowing. And that's the thing. Like Laura often does things to help both of us in a relationship, and like things to help me get my energy, like resting for a little bit as well. Yeah. Anyway, I wish we had time for some more, but we have to give away some tea.
What?
We have one more tea box left. If you would like this tea box, press like on the video. Maybe just leave a little comment in the comments box and share the post. That's the most important part, is that you share
the video. Share it. Make sure more people watch it because of you.
Exactly. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Get yourself some free tea.
Also, what do you think about this tea?
Bit plain. I'd only get it again if I really needed caffeine, to be honest.
Yeah, which then you might as well just get a coffee or a Red Bull, right?
Exactly.
Because it doesn't taste of anything. It looks like you're...
Keep it Catholic.
God bless.
Kia ora.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. We're certainly enjoying making it. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Auckland Catholic Tertiary Chaplaincy.
Also, follow us on Facebook at Facebook.com/The Chaplains.
Or you can find us on Instagram at Auckland Catholic Chaplaincy.
We also have a webpage, www.newmanhall.org.nz.
If you're going to be online, make sure that you like, you share, and comment in the box, maybe if you have some extra stuff to add to the conversation. Thanks.
God bless.